welcome back to Homestead 215. I've got my little helper here, Madeline. She's gonna help me out in the garden today a little bit. All right, so Maddie, today we are gonna open up some of Mom's winter sow jugs because they have to start what we call hardening off or acclimating. So I thought I'd teach you guys a little bit more about winter sowing today. I have all my jugs out here that I showed you the last video, and basically what we do is they have to get acclimated or hardened off so that they can get transplanted here soon. So I've got my winter sow jugs here, and a lot of these are all my sprouted ones. I've got a few more over here that have not sprouted yet. They will, as it gets a little bit warmer, those are like melons and squash and things that need more warmth before they will sprout. So I'm going to just tell you about the steps that you take to start acclimating your plants to be transplanted. You can see my lettuces back here are ready to get out and transplant. I've got some arugula in here that's ready to get out and be transplanted. So I'm going to start getting my jugs ready to transplant these plants. Today I'm going to take the duct tape off of some of these, any that are big enough, they have their true leaves, a couple sets of true leaves. I'm going to go ahead and take the duct tape off of those. I won't do it yet for these are not quite ready. These only have their beginning seedlings leaves, so I'm not gonna, you can't see that very well, sorry. But these are not ready to be transplanted, so I'm gonna wait, leave those a little bit more protected still. Sorry, that was blurry. But anything like this that has true leaves, we're gonna go ahead and prepare to be transplanted. So I'm gonna take the duct tape off this first day. Once the tape is off, I'm just going to leave the bottle closed. So these are basically cut. I cut these right here, and they're hinged on the handles. So I can still leave the lid down. I'll show you that when I take one off here in a minute. But you're going to leave it closed. The wind might pop it open every now and then, but for the most part, they should be able to stay closed throughout the day pretty well. And it's a shady, rainy day today, so they're not going to get too hot and things like that. It's good to do on a cool, shady day. Tomorrow I'm going to come back out and I'm going to open the lid but leave them in mostly shade for the day. So I may have to move these. This is kind of a sunny spot throughout the day on a sunny day. The next few days are kind of rainy and cloudy, so I may not move them, just depends on the weather. But if you have really sunny spot and a really sunny day, you don't want to leave them in direct sun all day on their first day open. And then that second night you close them back up so that the cool temperatures at night don't affect them at all. But then the next morning on the third day, you're going to open them up again and leave them. They can handle part shade that day. So it's a little bit more sunny that day. They can handle that. Again, we're just acclimating them so that they can get used to the sun and used to the weather outside of the jugs. That night, you can leave the lid off because, again, they need to get acclimated. And then on day 4, I like to just set them where I'm going to plant them, like in the jug still, but leave them where they are, and that way they get used to whatever sunlight they're going to get anyway. If they're need full sun is fine by this point. If they're going to be in the shade part of the time anyway, that's okay. Let them get used to that. So I will just basically pick up the jugs, and like this arugula I'm going to plant over here. So I'm on the 4th day. I will just take this over here and I will just put it, let's see, I think my arugula is going right here. So I will put them just right there because that's the amount of sun they're going to get. So I will help them get used to where they're going to be planted. And then 4th day, open up the jug, leave it open all day, all night. And then the 5th day, or any day after, if you can start transplanting. So the 5th day, I'm going to come out and I will water these really well in the jug because that helps the roots to be able to separate a little bit easier so you're not ripping roots apart. If they're nice and wet, they come apart pretty easily. I'm going to dump them out, and I just usually make a little pile of all the plants, and then I just separate them and then plant them where I'm going to put them. So I will just get this bed prepared and I will plant my arugula, and then you want to water it really well that day so that they can get acclimated to the soil they're in, their roots can start stretching out and getting down into the ground. It is best to do the transplanting on a shady, cool day, or at least in the evening, so they're not in the bright sun all day on that first day of transplant. You won't have as much shock that way for the plants. But after that, they should be fine. They'll be transplanted, they'll be acclimated, you should be good to go and have healthy plants. They might look a little bit droopy on the first day or so just because they are, again, getting used to being in new soil, in a new place. But if you've acclimated them pretty well with the jugs, like I just explained, they'll recover really fast. Last year when I transplanted, it took maybe a day and a half for them to start popping back and looking really well again. You didn't even know they were transplanted. They looked really healthy. So that is winter sowing. It's so easy, you guys. Like I literally planted this on January 31st. They just sat all winter long outside. They didn't sprout until they were ready, and I forgot to write down the sprout dates this year. I try to keep track of when they do sprout, but that got away from me this year. They probably sprouted in the middle of March maybe. So like all winter long they just sat out here, and they were fine. You just kind of set them outside and forget about them for a while. Once they've sprouted, you got to pay attention, because then you do have to cover them at night like I mentioned last time, but otherwise they can just basically take care of themselves. I hardly had to water these. I think I've watered the jug maybe twice. I know I did once, but really just with the rainwater watered them. And this one you can tell is a little bit dry on the jug right now. There's a little bit of moisture back here still, so it's okay. I'm not going to water it today, but with it being open the next couple days, I'm going to open this one today because it's going to dry out a little bit more. So I might give it a good watering before I open it, just to keep some moisture in there if it's looking dry, which really I don't think the soil is looking that bad. So I'll look at it when I open it. But that is winter sowing. I am going to start opening some of these, and I'll try to show you that process a little bit. And then, yeah, if you guys have any questions, you can put those in the comments, or any thoughts, or if you've ever winter sowed, I'd love to hear about it, because I love seeing other people do it as well. And there's all kinds of Facebook groups and places where you can learn more about winter sowing. I've learned a lot from Winter Sowing with Cheryl Mann, and that's on Facebook. She has a lot of great files that you can look through and see pictures of how to do this. It's really easy. So, and again, it gives your milk jug another purpose, another life. They don't have to be recycled right away. You can reuse them first. So it gives them just a second life. Let's get started with some opening of these jugs. Okay, so I'm just gonna take the end of my tape here and just peel it off. It should just pop right off. Some of them can be a little bit harder than others, but now when you open it, be careful, because this is cut in half, so this can pop open. So be sure you're holding it steady when you're opening it. Alright, so I've got this all the way opened, and I'll just go ahead and show you some of my arugula plants that are in here. Nice and healthy. And I've got a few down in there that are still kind of small. You can't really tell, but there's a few down in there that are smaller that I won't transplant quite yet. I'll leave those in, but when I do pull these out, I will transplant the bigger ones so that they can get acclimated. So for now, again, we're going to leave this closed for today. So I'm just opening to show you, but we're going to go ahead and close those back up. And try not to get the leaves squished now that I've got it open. So again, it's just hinged right here on the side. So I'm just going to close it back, and it just sits by itself. Again, though, if it's a really windy day, it might pop open, but otherwise they are good to go. But that just helps them get, the seal is broken, now they can get some airflow in there, get used to the weather a little bit before we transplant them and start acclimating them better. It is getting kind of dark out here, so I may have to cut this video short. It's supposed to rain, and I was trying to do this video before the rain hits, so we will see. Spinach ready to go. I don't know if you guys can tell how dark it is or how windy it is, but it is about to storm, so I may have to turn this off and do this again later. Oh, there's some thunder, yeah. Hey Maddie, we need to go inside, babe. It's thundering. This last one open. some spinach. I'm gonna set those out right here. And we need to go inside. My doggy's going in because he knows it's time to get out of here. Huh? So, this is our dog, Chewbacca. Maddie, you ready to say bye to everybody? Say we will see you next time.
We will see you next time.
We
will see you next time.
Thanks for joining us. Hope you learned something. Throw some questions or comments down in the chat, and I'd love to help answer anything I can. Or again, check out Winter Sewing with Cheryl Mann on Facebook. That's a great resource and a great tool for you to check out if you're interested in winter sewing. And it's never too late to start collecting jugs. Collect those milk jugs now, because then next year you can go. Say bye.